Chapter 7. How dirty can I get? Well, back to 6th grade and Mrs. Dale. Mary Dale was friends with my mother, as were most of the women in town, and I knew they all thought I was a lost child who got very little attention. She and Joyce and Leona and Mary always gave me a little extra hug and would spend a few moments talking to me about this or that. During that year with Mary, I was feeling particularly lost and unattended. Marilyn was always on Mother's mind. Richard and Jan had 4 kids by then and were living in L.A., which both Mother and Dad hated. Robert was married and teaching school. I decided I wanted some attention and created a plan that Mother could not ignore. I decided I would not bathe until someone noticed. I counted the days. I watched my greasy hair mat to my head. I smelled. I itched. I counted the days some more. 10 days. No one says a word. 15 days. 18 days. 20 days. Then Mary kindly put her arm around me and suggested that my hair was so lovely that maybe the next day I could show her how shiny it could be. I knew what she was trying to tell me and I complied. It wasn't my mother who noticed, but close enough. You take what you get. Summer came and it was long and hot. We signed up for camp. Jane would go 1 week and I would go the next. She sent home the funniest card from camp. She wrote that she was having a perfectly horrible $32.50 worth of fun. Then she addressed it to the big greenhouse on highway. Jane was never very friendly to me, but I loved her and wanted to do something nice for her while she was away. She had been complaining that their bike tire was flat and no one would help her get it fixed. I didn't think about money, or that someone would charge me. Especially if that someone was my uncle who ran a gas station and repair shop. I walked that bike downtown to his bike shop and asked him if he could get it fixed. He gladly said he would fix the bike and I should come back later and get it. I was so excited, proud even, that I was taking care of this big problem for her. Well, something must have transpired after that visit and before supper time. Dad came in the door hotter than a poker straight out of the fire that night. He screamed at me forever. He wanted to know who's going to pay the tire repair and how dare I commit him to something with his brother. What was I thinking? He went on and on and on at the top of his voice. I was crying hard. How could this have gone so far south so quickly? My mind just started to swirl and then crack, a break. Something changed in me. I looked up at Mother and said, something just broke in me. She said Bob really loud and he quit. Why didn't she do that sooner? What broke? Whatever broke that day is still broken. Why did she let him go on and on? I think that's when I quit crying, and I mean quit crying for quite a few years. I slowly walked down to the gas station the next day and asked my Uncle Fran how much I owed him. He said, "Nothing. I was glad to do it for Jane." I walked the bike home, placed it on the back porch, went in the house and never touched it again. Jane was happy. Well, as happy as Jane ever gets.